of the fiscal year 2025 enacted level. Importantly, the bill makes strategic investments in several agencies while appropriately reducing others. Despite recent progress in the fight against fentanyl and other opioids, overdose deaths continue to plague our communities and our neighborhoods. As a result, this bill continues to ensure the DEA within the Department of Justice receives the funding it needs to combat illicit drug use and drug trafficking. Additionally, the Bureau of Prisons is also funded at a level that will continue to reform and enhance the nation's prison system. Moreover, the fiscal year 2026 bill strongly supports the men and women in blue that protect our families and neighborhoods by increasing funding for state and local law enforcement. From increased funding levels directed to the Burn JAG program, to the COPS hiring program, the fiscal year 2026 legislation puts our law enforcement first. To ensure America is the leader in space exploration, the 26 CJS bill continues to maintain funding levels for NASA and its endeavor to return to the moon. With its site on Mars, NASA will not only lead the way to the next frontier, but it will also ensure America maintains a competitive advantage over China. The legislation also protects and reinforces constitutional rights, such as the Second Amendment, by reining in and refocusing the ATF. It don't work. Under this bill, the law-abiding citizens will no longer feel threatened by the heavy hand of the Biden-era Department of Justice. Additionally, flooding has inflicted much pain on the nation over the last few months. From my district in Kentucky to Texas, now is the time to ensure the National Weather Service is equipped with the funding it needs to warn and protect our citizens. This bill does just that by appropriately funding NOAA's weather units. Overall, the provisions and funding levels in the fiscal year 26 bill will protect our children, our families, our neighborhoods, and our country. I would like to thank all of the subcommittee members for their attention and participation in these budget hearings these past few months. The testimony that we received and corresponding answers to our questions directly impacted the drafting of this legislation. Importantly, I would like to thank Ranking Member Meng for her continued partnership over the last few months. I would also like to thank and acknowledge Chairman Cole for his vigorous leadership to the full committee and to the entire U.S. House when it comes to funding our government. Additionally, I would like to thank Ranking Member DeLauro for her tireless advocacy and lastly, let me thank both the majority and minority staff for assisting with the development and production of this year's bill.
Representative Hal Rogers, Republican Kentucky, spoke in detail about the fiscal year 2026 Commerce, Justice, and Science (CJS) Appropriations Bill, emphasizing the bill's role in balancing strategic investments with necessary reductions. He acknowledged that while progress has been made in the fight against fentanyl and other opioids, overdose deaths continue to devastate communities across the nation. In response, the bill ensures that the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, receives essential funding to combat the illegal drug trade and related public health crises. He further noted that the bill continues support for the Bureau of Prisons, aiming to reform and enhance the federal prison system. A key focus of the legislation is to strengthen public safety by increasing funding for state and local law enforcement. This includes significant investments in initiatives like the Burn JAG program and the Cops Hiring Program, efforts aimed at reinforcing the presence and effectiveness of officers who serve and protect American communities. In a nod to America's leadership in innovation and exploration, Rogers highlighted that the bill maintains funding for NASA, ensuring continuity in lunar missions and future ambitions toward Mars. He stressed that these investments are crucial for maintaining the United States' competitive edge over rivals like China in the realm of space exploration. The legislation also addresses constitutional protections by redirecting and limiting the scope of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF. According to Rogers, these changes will help safeguard Second Amendment rights and ease concerns about federal overreach under the current administration. Turning to recent natural disasters, Rogers pointed to the devastating impact of floods in areas like his home state of Kentucky and across Texas. The bill responds to these challenges by increasing support for the National Weather Service, providing the resources needed to issue timely warnings and protect lives and property. Overall, Rogers framed the FY26 bill as a commitment to protecting families, supporting law enforcement, advancing space exploration, and upholding constitutional freedoms. He closed by thanking members of the subcommittee for their contributions during recent budget hearings and expressed appreciation for the bipartisan efforts of committee leadership and staff.